My name is Marcell Hanson, and you're listening to Small Habits, Big Changes. Let's dive in. Welcome to this week's episode where we're going to touch in on seasonal change and just how you can stay on top of your game. And if you've lost it, regain it now as we head into the cooler temperatures. Now, I don't know about where you live or where you're listening in from, but here in the Pacific Northwest, Western Canada, we are coming into early winter, fall times where the sky tends to be a little more overcast, the temperatures drop, and we can have pretty drizzly weather. A lot of people experience a dip in their energy during this time of year. I want to give you a few tips on how you can stay on top of that and get it early. We're coming up on Halloween right now. So this is something I always recommend about a month ago, but it's not too late to get in on the magic that allows you to ease through this cooler season and do so right away. So a few things you want to take a look at. If you don't already have a very strong wellness protocol, if you're not following My Stable Table or another wellness regime that allows you to slip, fall, and blunder and get back up on your feet right away, this will pose as more of a challenge for you, but that's not a reason not to do it. You want to start as soon as possible today, if you can, in tracking your basic wellness pillars, your hydration, your movement, your nutritious meals, and your quality sleep. You want to track these things throughout the year so you can see when they're slipping, when they're being altered by perhaps exterior forces like the weather or the seasonal change. We're coming up on daylight savings time. If you observe it, like we do here, it's a big shift. It's dark when you're not expecting it to be dark. It's lighter when you're not expecting it to be lighter. And honestly, because we as humans run off our circadian rhythm, it can't be overstated that 1 hour change in light is very impactful. So you want to recognize that coming into daylight savings time, even now we can feel it a week or so before it's starting to get a little darker earlier. You want to give yourself some grace, but you also want to be aware that it is going to affect you, because that awareness allows you to absorb some of the effects more easily. So going into the cooler, colder, more overcast, potentially climate, you want to prepare yourself. So a few ways to do that, obviously dressing appropriately. So throwing on a scarf, having some mittens or gloves readily available, a toque, a beanie, a hat of some sort, protecting your body and particularly your extremities, your head, your toes, your hands from that extreme shock. I'm not a firm believer that we need to stay all bundled up and be cozy all the time and be comfortable. It's important for your body to go through changes. And that type of stress, if you will, is actually quite healthy for the body and quite necessary. But sometimes it can be shocking, and what that leads to is a big zap of energy drain. So we want to avoid that by just prepping ourselves a little going into fall. And one way to do that is through your dress. A little bit warmer socks, closed-toed shoes or boots, preferably barefoot, maybe a pair of gloves, maybe a beanie, maybe a scarf, depending on where you're located. And again, it's just to take the bite off as we get into full-blown fall and winter. These become like regulars anyway. So this is just an introduction to your body, just so it's not shocked and that it doesn't zap you into feeling like you want to stay in bed all day. The second thing we want to look at that can help you ease into this season is food choices. So coming into fall and into winter, it's easier on our digestive system to eat locally grown, seasonally appropriate, soupier foods. While your body's off fending off cold and dealing with external things, internally, it digests easily if you're putting together stews or soups, things that have vegetables like root vegetables or beets and such. Squashes of this time of year are appropriate. If it works for you, you can add warming seasonings like cinnamon or even nutmeg or cayenne. Garlic is good any time of year, but it's actually a great one to add into these soups and stews. that you can more readily digest. And also they warm you from the inside out, which is one of the most potent ways that you can be warmed throughout this season. So after we talk a bit about dress and food options, the third thing is movement. You want to make sure that you are moving each and every hour, whether you're flexing in your work chair or whether you get up and take a walk to the washroom or out to your car and back. You want to stay moving. For most people, if you've ever had an injury, a broken bone, a really injured joint, or even fascial tissue, most of the time, from my experience listening to others, the first, second, third year after that injury, the injury area will ache when it comes to cold, right? A lot of times the achiness we experience is from not from movement, but from lack of movement or incorrect movement. So we want to make sure that we're moving, and you want to move inside, you want to move outside. Don't make all of your exercise routine outside if you're sitting inside for a long time. Try and mix it up where you're actually moving throughout the day if you're in a chair or at a stand-up station. You don't want to wait long periods of time and then do your explosive movement training. So we've talked a little bit about how you can dress to reduce the shock of the cold and the damp season change. We've talked a little bit about food and seasoning and how you can eat soupier, warmer foods, in seasonal squashes and beets, vegetables, root vegetables. As we go into fall, these are very nourishing for your body. We talked a bit about movement. So you want to be moving on a regular basis. And this is honestly year round, but as it starts to get colder, it's really important to keep your body moving. The fourth thing we do want to talk about is actually sleep. Now, you're maybe tempted to snuggle up and take a nap or just stay in your bed longer or go to bed earlier. And while lots of times I'm a proponent of going to bed early, this is the most important time for you to keep your healthy sleep routine. If you're going to bed at 9, 10 o'clock, continue to do that. If you are getting up 6:30, 7 o'clock, continue to do that. This helps reinforce your circadian rhythm. It is going to help you as the time change impacts your schedule. Keep your routine as close to what it is as possible and ease into the shift in time. The last thing we want to touch on is hydration. So it's true that probably in the fall and winter, some people do not experience as much of a thirst reflex. So it is more of a challenge to stay hydrated. It is just as important to stay hydrated in the wintertime as it is the summer, perhaps even more so. So you do want to keep tracking your hydration. Of course, with like soupier foods, you're going to get more hydration within those. So take that into account. You're probably going to be eating less fresh fruits because they're just not plentiful at this time of year. But you want to monitor your hydration and keep that under check. All of the stable table legs help you to do that year round. This is just a reminder that helping you through the seasons and the seasonal change comes very easily if you just check back in with yourself and the basics. Am I getting hydrated? Am I moving my body? Am I eating well? Am I sleeping well? Right? So the last piece we want to touch on after the stable table and a little bit of adjustments in how you may be dressing for these cooler temperatures is your mindset. Now, again, when you wake up in the morning and you see sunlight, it is a trigger to your circadian rhythm. It is a trigger to the hormones in your body, the receptors. They're accepting light. They are triggering a cascade of hormonal effects. You want to continue to do that. If you're in a place where you do not see the sun early enough, you can augment that with a form of red light therapy. But honestly, unless you're in Alaska or somewhere very dark for several extra hours of the day, you probably will do okay to just stick with your normal routine. As much sunlight as you can early on, get outside and let the sun soak in. This is a huge, I cannot even overstate, it's a huge impact on your hormonal cycle, which affect everything from brain function to adrenals to appetite to mood. As you may wake up this fall or winter with more overcast and clouds up above, they don't have to linger down into your consciousness. Stay upbeat, listen to inspiring music or inspiring podcasts, take good reminders, good healthy reminders, and stay on track. The difference between a disruptive winter and a productive winter is massive. We want to head into the new year with invigorated zest. We want to continue building upon what we've done all this year. What we're going to continue to do is maintain that stable table, keep a strong mindset, stay optimistic. And again, if you have any questions about how you can do this more efficiently in your specific geographic zone, send a text with the word yes to 206-483-2960. Again, it's 206-483-2960. Text the word yes. That's a direct communication to me. I'd be happy to help you out one-on-one and give you some guidance as we rapidly approach Halloween, daylight savings time, and much, much colder temperatures. I wish you all the most ease this coming week, balance between movement and rest, much happiness and healthiness to you. Remember, ease into this season with a mindset of strength. Look at how you can adjust your wardrobe earlier as we head into colder temperatures. Create a meal plan that includes soupier, warmer, seasonally appropriate foods. Keep moving your body. Keep going to bed at your normal time. It will self-adjust a little by an hour here, and stay hydrated. I wish you all well. Until next time, stay strong and be awesome. Thank you so much for listening today. If you feel any part of this episode resonated with you, then please consider sharing it with a friend who may also find value in it. And remember to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And before you go, did you know we have a fantastic free text community? If you want more bite-sized health hacks and reminders delivered directly to your phone, absolutely free, then text keyword yes to 206-483-2960. Again, that's keyword yes to 206-483-2960. And we'll see you on the inside.